Hello, people of the world, and welcome to the second paper plane of TravelNow. As you can see, it's not the same background as the last time. I'm right now in Taman Negara National Park in Malaysia. It's not your usual vlogger in the same room talking to you all the time from the same position, because I don't really have something exact right now. So it's gonna be from Airbnbs, it's gonna be from jungles. Like today, we're by a river, we've just had a swim, and why not talk to you about something that I find important regarding your future travels. The paper plane idea, as you know, has a meaning, and this vlog, as the next will be as well, is for inspired travelers. I want you to find some inspiration regarding your next trips into what I'm talking to you, and I want us to have a discussion, as I've mentioned previously, with me and the people of the world. So let's get to today's topic, which is your 5 things to add on your checklist for your next trip. So, what could be the 5 things to add on your checklist? A lot of us go around trips. We go in Europe, we go in Asia, we go in South America, North America, USA. We go into any place, even in our city, country, or just on the village next to where we live. That's still a trip, that's still a traveling experience that can teach you a lot of things about yourself. So what are some things that you should add in your checklist to make your trip actually more insightful, more inspiring, and more enjoyable? I think it's easy to book a resort and then sit in the resort, have some food, enjoy the places, and like really go to the fancy restaurants and see all the good things that the city has to offer. But in the end of the day, a trip is more than that. You should allow yourselves to revel into what the city can offer you, into the culture and tradition of a country. And I know this can sound funny if I'm mentioning going to the village next to where you live, as in reveling in the culture, but the checklist still applies to that as well. So without further ado, let's talk about it. The first thing for your checklist that I can recommend today is definitely finding a viewpoint. Whether it is a sky bar with an Aperol Spritz watching the sunset over a Spanish city, or whether it's a viewpoint or a place somewhere where you're traveling, there will always be a hillish, highish point where you could see the place that you're traveling to better. I think for me that gives me a great impact into how I'm feeling the relationship with the place I'm traveling to, and it's also making me feel more excited. You know the song from Imagine Dragons, On Top of the World? It's always humming in the back of my head when I'm going into a place like that. It doesn't have to be a terrace, it doesn't have to be a sky bar. It can be any place that you want it to be, as long as you're seeing from a higher point. In the metaphorical point of view that I'm seeing as well, I think this is what attracts people to mountains as well, because you have that idea of I'm on top of the world, and it adds up to your trip for sure. The second point on your checklist that you should have to make your experience better wherever you're traveling is for sure 100% maximum value and infinity power, seeing the off tracks of a city. I know we're traveling to Barcelona to see Sagrada Familia, to see the Barceloneta beach. I know we're traveling to France to see the Eiffel Tower, but that's not it. That's not everything that a city can offer. Please go off track in your trips. Don't use the map one day. Maybe go on the side, discover a side street, and you'll see so much more than what you could have discovered by just going to the touristy places. So it's not necessarily, oh, we'll now go to the dangerous neighborhood of the city and like see what happens there, but rather discovering more by just walking without a map, walking without a direction, identifying different buildings and different places that maybe you couldn't have seen if you would have stuck to what Google says when top places to see in Paris shows up. A lot of the content from my vlogs and my travel videos in the past have been very much in some touristy places, but a lot of them have been on the side streets as well. It added so much more value to my trips, especially because I was traveling alone, and it just gives you the feel that this is an actual city, not an exhibition of what we could offer as a tourist attraction. The third thing to add on your checklist, and this is what everybody will love because this is what we do and this is what we appreciate, is food. Food. I don't know how much I can say food because I'm a bit hungry as well right now, but discovering the food of the city you're traveling to, or village or country, is quintessential. And what I'm saying through quintessential is that you can have your pizza at home, you can have your pasta at home, you can have your Caesar salad everywhere. Well, if you're in Italy, that's kind of the food of the place, but you can have food that you're having at home everywhere, and it's easy to fall into the idea of, "Ooh, I would love to eat that." But there's so much more local food and so much more culture added in the food that you could discover that I think it's very important for you to try. Go out by using the step 2 of the checklist in a off-road track and find a local restaurant that where actually locals eat, and you'll see that much more of the food that you could try in the city is different than what you see in the touristy places that you might have gone for in the past. Try to identify something like that, because food brings so much happiness and so much value to our trips, and it's an important point to make us happy throughout the experience and to talk about it when we actually get home. Further, it's not necessarily about the food. If you're over 18 and watching this vlog, I also recommend trying local alcohol. It's not only about the beer. There's so much more types of alcohol that you could try and that could add to your experience in a healthy and responsible way. Especially if you're underage, you should not do this, but please, if you are over age and you want to see more of the culture and the experience where you're there, try the drinks. And for the Romanian people watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Even if you're going in a village, there's always palinka. The next step for your travel checklist that I think you should do in order to have a better and inspiring experience wherever you're traveling to is museums. There's a very good hidden tip that I have for you, and something that really helped a lot of my trips in the past, and that is contemporary art museums. If you're a contemporary art freak like me, you would for sure go and visit it wherever you're traveling. But if you're not, this is the gem you're waiting for your trips. The contemporary art museums combine the culture of the country and of the city and its past with modern ideas and modern sculptures and paintings that could make an intriguing point on how you can discover the culture of a country. I think, as you've seen in my past vlogs, I've been seeing a lot of contemporary art museums, and I appreciate that. And it's simply because I can actually discover more of the culture by seeing something that also catches my attention in a modern, technological, creative way. In a world of social media and very quick briefing, browsing of information to get the idea, going to a museum as such is making it more interesting. And I think you should do it as soon as possible. So that's number 4. And finally, the last number and the most important for sure of the checklist for your next travels is meet new people. As presidential as I look looking at you saying this with my hands held together, meeting new people in your trips is the most important bit of it. There's always going to be someone that wants to talk to you. People are there with the same reason. People have seen places that maybe you haven't seen. You can get travel tips, you can get food tips, you can get viewpoint tips, you can get museum tips from everyone that you meet around. And at the end of the day, even in the society we live today, the people make the place. So there you go. There you have the TravelNow checklist to make your trips more inspiring and maybe get more insights of what you're actually visiting. I'm not saying you should check all the boxes from the list, but it's for sure something that you can keep in mind. In the end, what is your checklist? What do you follow throughout your trips? And is there something specific you always do in your destinations? I think having these ideas in your mind and some advice on how to get a more in-depth experience wherever you're traveling is useful. But do you keep that in your trips as well? If you do, please drop in the comments what's your habit, ritual, idea of your trips, and I can't wait to read them as well. And maybe if I find some new pieces of advice, I'll add them in my list as well. And in a few years' time, we'll send an updated checklist here on the TravelNow channel. That's it for today, people of the world. Thank you so much for watching this vlog as well. There's more coming from where this came from. There's gonna be more inspiring thoughts. There's gonna be more story times. There's gonna be more pieces of advice to make your travels as good as possible. And if you're ever in need of any advice regarding your trips, or if you need any help planning your trip, I'm here for it. Either message me on Instagram, raz.travels, or find me on Facebook, Razvan Lăcătușu, or finally drop a comment in the TravelNow channel. Thank you so much for watching this vlog as well. Thank you so much for all the support. It means so much for me. And see you next time in the next TravelNow talk adventure. We'll see what comes next. See you guys. Thank you so much again. Love you.